Hey guys, I don't even know if the reception is okay here. I think it is because I had good reception here once before. And my battery is about to die. I just stopped. I just went to go make a little delivery and something just kind of popped in my head. And I said, I just need to vent. So I only have 8% on my phone, so it may just die on me, but I'm going to try and get this out. Um, I want your point of view on something that occurred. I'll go ahead and say, my son. We live in rural country, beautiful, beautiful place. And we haven't really had a whole lot of problems with racism, especially in this area. But my son has had his share of occurrences in this area. But he always has, no matter where he goes. He's a young African American male. And wherever he goes, in the city, in the country, everywhere, he has an issue. And he's a sweet, wonderful young man. But anyway, a situation occurred. I just wanted to, okay. A couple of weeks ago, my son and I were driving and we to go fishing, and a white officer pulled us over because the plates were missing on the front of my car, on my truck, and my son was driving. So he ran his license, and my son, he says, do you know that you have a parking ticket? And he said, no. He says, I don't know about a parking ticket. And he says, there's also a warrant out for your arrest because of this parking ticket. And he says, officer, I didn't know. And he says, legally, he says, I'm supposed to take you to jail. And this is a white officer. He says, he says, I'm not going to do that. He says, it doesn't make any sense for a $10 ticket. He says, try and get into the county where we live to get that taken care of, which he did. But that was when the whole corona stuff first started. And when he was able to get to the office, it was already closed until they were trying to figure out what they were doing. So ultimately, today, he finally was able to go to the courthouse or whatever to try and deal with this. He was sent to three different buildings, and finally it came down to the last building, and they couldn't help him because the lady that handles that, we live in the country, and the little lady that works in this particular city wasn't able to, she wasn't there. I don't know if she was too old and they got a quarantine at home or whatever, but they said she's not there and nobody else could help him with that. They would have to wait on her. So my son, in desperation, he says, if I get pulled over, he says, I might not have Mr. Wonderful, empathetic professional officer, to think this through. And being an African American male driving around here, and a lot of folks say that, a lot of Black people use the race card. But I say walk one day. If you were a white American, seriously, walk one day in the shoes of a Black person. And different Black people, because my experience as a light-skinned Black person is quite different from the reality of a dark-skinned person. And I know it, I've lived it. I'm 62 years old. I've seen it all. I've seen the racism in this country. Well, anyway, so my son's thinking, okay, I need to do something, because he's driving to work every day in this area, passing through different counties. So he needs to make sure that's taken care of. So he goes to the police station, and says, hey, this is the situation about the parking ticket. I'm trying to get it taken care of, and I can't get it taken care of, and I'm afraid that I'm going to be pulled over and my car impounded and blah, 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 or my battery's going to die, and all of that. And they said, okay, we understand. So they took his license and they proceeded to take his mug shots, take pictures of every tattoo that he had on him, wanted to know where he lived, who he lived with, who I was, what is my contact information, and what is his employer's contact information. Why? Why was all that important? I don't know. I don't know. Now, in hindsight, I'm kind of thinking, okay, maybe that's for his protection too, to prove that he went there and tried to take care of this. So any officer that could pull him over could see that. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. But I don't know, y'all. It's just it's just disheartening because I know it's occurring every day, but when it hits close to home, it just, yeah, it does something to you. And I'm not saying this because I am recognizing in the media where they're trying to do this race baiting thing with the whole shooting of this young man and all of that. Do I think that some are going to try and use that to start something? Oh yeah, I think they are. And did this incident happen, and the racism that I have experienced and my son has experienced, has it actually happened? Absolutely, it has. And something needs to be done about it, because it's, I mean, here I am at 62 years old and still remembering the stories of my mom holding me on the bus in 1957 and being called a nigger, and to get that WAP baby on the back of the bus, thinking I was white. I'm biracial, so at the time I was very light, blonde hair. Actually, at that time I had blue eyes. So I passed as a white baby, and they thought she was the nanny. And how dare she have this white WAP baby in the front of the bus. And here it is, 62 years old, still listening to this craziness. It's craziness. I don't know. I'm just rambling right now. I'm just venting. I had one of my friends who I respect very much, sort of accuse me of, because I put a little blurb on it on Facebook, and he was saying, pretty much that maybe we shouldn't be friends because I voiced my opinion. And this is weird. This is weird because I'm the most non-racist person, I think, in my opinion. I don't think I'm a racist person at all. How can I be? I'm a big old pile of gumbo myself. It's stupid. But I'm just saying what my experience has been and what my son's experience has been. This crap is real. And it's not okay. It's not okay. But at the same time, we cannot allow the evil entities or whatever, if it's us or whatever, I don't know, but we cannot allow that to get into our mind and our psyches to where we have to start thinking about fighting each other. Let's not get into that. Don't get into that at all. It's another ploy. But again, I'm venting in this realm of what they're trying to do, but we cannot allow that to happen. Anyway, y'all, thank you for listening to me rant. And